you've touched on a little bit around this, but I know from conversations with Dawn and seeing people in Dawn and Dawn herself and people in her team present during the pandemic. How are you using data and listening in your work on culture? So, I mean, yes, you were doing it before, so I'd be interested about that, but also particularly during the pandemic, and how have you used some of those listening that you're doing to actually inform your approach to hybrid working as well? I think it'd be great to hear that.
No, I think our listening systems were important before, to your point, but they're even more important now. We've absolutely relied on our listening systems. We've relied on our daily pulse and just the incredible insights that the team has been able to deliver from that. We've relied on the connection between that and workplace analytics, and really looking at how people are spending their time, and the connection between that and employee sentiment, and finding the insights from there. And then I would say also our employee resource groups have been so critical during this time, and really listening to the unique needs of the community over the last year, and those listening systems helping us address key needs during the pandemic. So for instance, one of the things we came out with based on our listening systems was this 12-week pandemic leave. When things hit and schools shut down and people were finding themselves trying to navigate 3 kids at home and schooling, we first and foremost try to make shift and prioritize and enable and empower people to still get their job done, even though their home requirements had accelerated. But for those where they just couldn't make it work, we wanted to offer this 12-week pandemic leave. But then we got the feedback that a lot of folks didn't want to take it consecutively. They needed Thursday off, or they needed Tuesdays off, or whatever. And so then we quickly, via our listening systems, changed that to allow that you could take those 12 weeks. You didn't have to take them consecutively.
Yeah, you could take Tuesday and Thursday off.
That's one example. I mean, the other example is we started to see, we were tracking sentiment around work-life balance and productivity. And in the beginning, it almost went up as people were coming together, but then we started seeing that work-life balance deteriorate. And so using our listening systems, we got input that I presented on a Friday. The leadership team said, let's implement wellness days, because some of the other feedback was around vacation and people perhaps not wanting to take vacation or feeling bad about vacation, but somehow offering wellness days. People have really taken their wellness days. I've already taken all my wellness days. But that's just another example where, based on the listening systems, we were able to try to do something to address what was happening with our employees.
And I think, I will put some links to this in the publication around the web, the podcast. Microsoft published some great insights into how that, as you said, that listening showed and changed during the various stages of the pandemic. So we'll definitely put some links to that, and some really good learning there for people. I'd be interested as well, because obviously you talk about the daily pulse, and a lot of companies, or a lot of people we speak to say, well, we don't know if we want to ask people too regularly how they're feeling and everything else, because they're worried about, survey fatigue. I always say it's not survey fatigue, it's survey inaction fatigue. But in terms of how you set that up, it goes to a representation, my understanding of the workforce. So you're not getting asked to a survey every day. It goes to a representative sample of the workforce each day. So, and you track how often people are receiving a request and stuff like that. But I understand the take-up, the response rate is pretty good.
I think we've been very pleased with our take-up on the daily pulse. Like you say, we don't pulse everybody every day, but you're able to accumulate the responses. But we just did our yearly poll, and we had 88% participation. And I think whether it be a yearly poll or the daily pulse, I think the key is that you use the data and you show how it hopefully improves the employee experience. And if you can be direct about that, then people think, oh, there's goodness that comes from taking this pulse or this poll. If you have your listening systems, but you never act on those listening systems, or you don't share with folks how that listening system is driving action, then I think you're not going to get people to take it. But one of the things that we did, in addition to sharing with employees, we had unique insights that we were gaining for our managers. And so I would send a mail to the manager where I would share data and insights and suggested actions for them as we were seeing fatigue, but also what our employees were saying they needed. One of the big insights is people thought that that the teams, as team connection was waning, people thought, let's do more happy hours and the virtual happy hours. And of course, those are fun, but honestly, that isn't really what people wanted. People wanted to know that their work was valued. When you're remote and you're not getting to see your manager, you still want to be seen and you still want to be valued. They wanted to make sure that we were prioritizing and really being active in helping them prioritize, just given the workload that people were facing, not just at work, but at home. And those are sort of the insights that we can gain from our listening systems to then better empower our managers to empower the employees with insights on, like, this is what really is going to matter to our employees. In fact, you might want to tone down the happy hours because people are getting fatigued from those too.
In this series, we will be speaking to a range of senior leaders who are pushing a data-driven and digital HR agenda. Make sure that you subscribe via your podcast app of choice and also via our YouTube channel for free and regular interviews with the digital HR leaders of the future.